Hello there, my lions and ducks, and thank you for listening in. If this is your first time joining us, put on that seatbelt, strap it up, fasten it tight, because we got Joshua Toller, aka Maurice McHustle, in the house here today. We're going to talk about sports. We're going to talk about building confidence, how athletes build that confidence for you, and most importantly, we're going to try to help you put that into real world scenarios. And how do you do that for yourself today, so that way you can go out there, build confidence. Please make sure you like, share, follow, subscribe, all of that good stuff, because you need to get the notification when this pops out, right? And all the other ones. Absolutely. So, without further ado, this is Boozy Coffee with friends. Hey Josh, how you doing today?
How are you doing, Armando? How do they say? I'm just hanging in there like an old loose tooth.
I like that, my man. I like that. Hey, why don't you tell a little bit of our listeners? Tell them a little bit about your background, who you are, and what you've been up to these days.
Man, well, I am Maurice McHustle, otherwise known as the one and only Joshua. But lately I've been up to, I'm at Hilton now. I work for Hilton, and I am one of the top salesmen in the company. We sell amazing timeshares, vacations, things of that nature. Uh, Also, just right now, being in a reinventing stage. I like to put it that way. So, 2023 is a new year with new opportunities, and I've been in sales for over 20 years, I can say. Many different variations from cars to uh, vacation packages. Let's see, I've sold extended service plans, roadside assistance, everything from Camping World to Imperium marketing. Let's see, I've done door to door, solar. Um, oh my gosh, even done sales that I couldn't speak about. But at the end of the day, the whole point is, I'm very in tune with that. When it comes to dealing with people and getting people the services that they need, and them being happy afterward. So,
Awesome,
um,
awesome. Yeah, you
I'm
and I, we go back what
like Jerry curls.
10, 20 yeah, right, right. Close to 15 years, something like that.
Gotta
Yeah,
be
we
15
go
years.
way back. And so for the listeners out there that maybe are kind of wondering, how does this all come together? So boozy
But
coffee is a metaphor that we use uh, to all of us need confidence in our life from time to time, right? And boozy coffee is a metaphor to say, hey, sometimes we need to put some booze in our coffee to get us going, to get that confidence, to hit that, whatever presentation you might have. But the metaphor is all about building confidence, and in translating that, as Josh, as you mentioned, heavy in sales. I'm sure that you've had your days where you have confidence where it's really high,
oh
and
yeah,
then you have days where your confidence is super low, right? So
right.
today we want to kind of use sports as a platform to kind of help our
Woo!
audience members understand how these athletes do this. It sometimes in one game, right? In the same game, you'll see them have low confidence, and then they just all of a sudden switch and they hit the game winning shot. And you say, well, how did they do that? So let's talk a little bit about sports. Let's talk a little bit about athletes and confidence. Obviously I see you in the purple drip. I've
Of
got my
course.
Phoenix Rally the Valley on today. So um, tell me,
We're a
let's start with
perfect example of that. Here's the Lakers are a perfect example of that right now. So at the end of the day, as you being an athlete or you being an expert in whatever your field is, you you have your on switch. It's already embedded in you. And I like to say it's just sitting dormant. Sometimes certain situations come up and it's a wave. You got to get ready to ride it, especially in sales. One day, let me back up. In sports, You can go 40 points one day, fourth quarter, won't miss a shot. They're like, oh gosh, where were you at in the first quarter and in the second quarter? Not knowing that there's other factors of that. Sometimes it's like, okay, my center's not, he's not in the game right now. My point guard, he's not doing what he's supposed to do. Let me help get them into the game because at the end of the day, it's a team game. You can, yeah, you can take over by yourself, but you do need those other four players, and so to know when to insert yourself, when to be aggressive, when to take over the game, that's a whole different switch to hit. Uh, to translate that to the Lakers, perfect example. This season, yeah, they had a horrible season starting, but they were never out of it. They had the core pieces, of course, LeBron and AD. Other players weren't suffice, you know. And in the midst, the show had to go on. LeBron never lost his it factor. AD never lost his it factor, but the pieces weren't there yet. Now, since the All-Star break, it's been a whole different disrespectful game because the pieces are there now. There's cohesion now. Oh, okay. Now we know if this night we're going up against bigs, we got our def squad for a small lineup to put in now. There's different variations. To move that over into sales, you have waves that you have days where you can't say anything wrong on the phone. It doesn't matter what I tell you, it was the right thing, and you make plenty money. And then there's days where I thought I was saying the exact same thing I said yesterday, and I can't buy a bucket. No, and
Yeah, yeah.
that's where that integrity comes in. That's where that resilience comes in. I learned over time, over experience, to use that time as like, okay, this is my day. So I'll start using this day for practice. Now I'll start practicing on things that I wasn't as sharp at, you know, whether it was a certain way of listening or a certain way of rebuttaling or a certain way of overcoming an objection. Now I'm working on that a little more since I see this is not my day for sales. I'm not going to score today. Okay, I'm not going to score. Let me see how many assists I can get today then. Okay, let me see how many boards I can grab today then since I see I'm not putting up 40 today because they got the clinches on me. You got to be able to immediately adjust. Don't make excuses, make adjustments to what's going on. And that's the thing with the athlete. That's why I feel like even as a salesperson, I'm an athlete. I'm an athletic salesperson. There we go.
I love that. I
because
love that.
because that's my
Yeah.
mindset. I go into it, it's very simple. I go into a call like, oh no, I'm taking this over. I'm going to win. Not I hope it goes through, or I hope they like it, or I hope this bucket goes in. Uh, Once you've had so much muscle memory of that fadeaway, muscle memory of that layup, muscle memory of that three and clutch, practicing over and over again, over and over again. When it's game time, you never had to get ready. You were ready already. You were always ready already. You were just
You had that saying. You opened that saying up to me one time. Why don't you tell it? Because you say it best. Do you know which one I'm talking about?
let me see. Uh, Stop making
About
excuses
ready.
and
No, no,
if
no. The one about ready. I ain't gotta.
I ain't gotta stay ready, I ain't gotta get ready because I stay ready. Or
That's right.
whatever you're
That's right.
supposed to do tomorrow, do it today. And whatever you're supposed to do today, do it now.
Oh,
You
I
know,
love that one. That one's new for me. I love that one. So I want to take a little bit of a detour and go backwards a little bit. You mentioned the changes that the leakers did, um, and they made some trades. They did their thing. They got rid of West, and I don't know. I mean, I like Westbrook as a player, but I think there's certain players in this league. I can think of, the Carmelo Anthony's,
right,
Westbrook's, Harden's. For me,
right.
they're great athletic players. They just sometimes don't mesh with the team the way you think they're going to come together because of the way their game is designed. So you talked about how now the Lakers have these pieces. Do you think that helped build confidence for LeBron? Like, did you see, since you follow the Lakers, have you seen a change in confidence in the not just him, but in the organization just because of the pieces that they've put together?
That's a great question. You said, did I see a change in confidence in LeBron? No. LeBron's confidence never went anywhere, ever. His confidence never left. What happened is he didn't have the proper pieces around him. His confidence never left. LeBron will go put up 35, 8, and 12 for 4 nights in a row at
Yeah, but
about
when you're
40 years old.
missing,
Now watch this. When
but
you're
when you're
missing
missing,
pieces, you have to work harder.
yeah,
That's it. You have to work
and you
harder.
could put up that 40, but that doesn't mean you're gonna
You
win the
lose.
game, right?
Exactly. You put up 40 and lost. I'd rather put up 12, 19, and 5 and win than put up 40 with an L any day.
That's right. That's
LeBron
right.
has the same mindset. Westbrook, I saw what he thought when he went and recruited him. He thought Westbrook can come off the bench for me with the same energy almost that I have, just in a smaller package. What he forgot was, not forgot, what he wasn't paying attention to is that Westbrook doesn't have the same leadership mentality
Mm,
that LeBron has.
mm,
He has
there
the
it
same
is.
athletic abilities, just in a smaller
Absolutely.
package. He doesn't have the leadership quality. He's not a floor general. He's not LeBron. He's not a good fit to play alongside a player like LeBron. He is an awesome player. He's the truth. I have nothing bad to say about Westbrook other than he doesn't fit with the Lakers and LeBron. I'm
Yeah,
not going to
yeah.
bash him. Anybody who can put up triple doubles for damn near a whole season, you got my vote.
That's right. That's right. I mean, we're talking about these athletes that are just I think people forget how easy they make it look, but how much hard work they put
How much
into
hard
that,
work?
right? And you mentioned leadership. I just want to do a quick plug here and remind our listeners to join in on the core leadership Lion and Duck show, where we're going to help you gain those leadership skills that Maurice Micasso is talking about. Is how do I turn that key and unlock that potential in myself? How do I become a leader, right? So make sure that you follow, subscribe, and join us for that journey. Now, getting to something that you were transitioning into is how do you build confidence in the job that you do? And so, in sales specifically, what I loved is you talked about how it was very difficult. There's days where you think you're doing the same motion, the same routine. You're doing
Period.
everything you need to do, and what happens to your confidence when you're not hitting those sales goals, those targets? What happens to that psyche? And then if you could talk about what do you do to kind of turn that around, whether it be same day, next day, or onward? How do you build that confidence again, or go back to it, or establish it?
That's a great question. So, what I like to do is, um, I know it's coming from experience. I know it's coming. So my confidence doesn't go anywhere. I get frustrated. I'll keep it honest. Frustration does build, but not my confidence. Uh, Frustration builds because I'm like, okay, I knew this was coming. Now I need to start working on something else. Let me work on maybe how I can. Sometimes I'll go even as far as to try to change my voice, the way I'm talking. I'll go as far as to, because at the end of the day, I'm like, I'm trying to adjust. Now I adjust to the day. Instead of saying, oh, what was it? No, I adjust to the day. Oh, okay, this is the type of day it's going to be. No problem. Let me adjust to it. Because at the end of the day, I know I'm still the best salesman in the world, but the sun doesn't shine every single day. There's days where it's cloudy and you just don't see it. No, so
Yeah, a little bit like today over here. We got some snow and it's April.
right, but that's great. What? You got snow out there?
Yeah, we did. This morning woke up to a few inches of snow. It was warm, so it's already all melted out. But to your point, you got it. I wrote that down that I think our listeners should definitely write down is you have to be able to make adjustments. You have to be able to adapt to your environment, right? So today, I was ready to go out in a t-shirt, tank top, show those guns, and what do they call it? Short shorts to show my buns and guns.
Right.
And I look out the window and it's snowing. And so you have to adjust to that. And I love that. And so what are some things that as specifically with sales, you're in a sales role. Our listeners out there, they say, well, that's me. I understand exactly what he's saying, but maybe they don't understand how that looks in real world scenario, right? Like, okay, you're telling me to adjust, but what are one or two things that help me to do that? Because I'm really lost in
Oh,
what that
oh,
looks like.
oh, my apologies. Let me back up. So, and this is just me. In the morning, that's when your brain is
That's right.
moldable. It's just putty. I turn on YouTube and I press play on one of my motivational videos. Period. Doesn't matter which one, whether it's Les Brown, uh, doesn't matter. And I'll let it play. So I'm already being told from the time I woke up that I am great, that I am the shit, that I am that I can conquer anything, that I
I
am
love that.
indestructible, that I cannot be broken, that I am phenomenal. That's already juicing through from the time I'm up. That's my water immediately. So now I'm going into my day already full gorilla.
Nah, I love that. You got that little like I
It's
feel it,
over.
right?
It's over. There's what you feed is what is going to come out. If you get up like,
That's
oh, I
right.
think, I hope I get two today, or I hope I accomplish something, or I hope I make. That's the exact energy you're about to ride with for the rest of the day until you
That's
change
right.
that, or until you feed it with something different. And if you what you
I
feed
want to
is gonna.
add. I want to add to that it's not only about having that mentality of doing that. I love what you said. I wrote this down. My morning brain is putty.
It's
Oh
putty.
my gosh, I've never heard that. I think that is so powerful, right? And I think there's a lot of listeners out there that wake up and they don't even acknowledge that, right? So they're not even saying, I hope I get one or two sales. They're just going through the motions, right?
It's
And if you're
another
just
day.
going through the motions, if it's just another day, if you wake up and that's the first thing you tell yourself, another day, right?
Yeah.
Um, you got to recognize that your brain is putty and it's moldable. And when you do that, that has incredible power over you and your ability to be successful, whatever
Yes.
that vision looks like
Whatever
for
that
you,
may
whatever
be.
success. Right, exactly. Wow,
And
that's
motivation
really,
is
really
not
cool.
bias. It's not bias. Whatever your work may be, it doesn't matter. Let's say that you're a construction worker. If you wake up in the morning and slap that on, something motivational, you're going to have a great construction day, period.
That's
Or
right.
at least the beginning of it, because you get to determine how it's going to finish. But the start is always, yeah, they always say it's not how you start, it's how you finish. That's true. But has something a lot to do with how you start as
You're
well.
right.
I mean, you can't just dismiss how you start and just say, oh, it's just how you finish. Yeah, but
Yeah, yeah.
even how you finish determines from how you started a lot of
Yeah, I
times.
think there's a missing piece of that, and I love that you brought that up because that's a great quote that I use all the time when I'm coaching my boys in
Right,
basketball. I tell them, it's not about how we started, guys, it's about how we finish. Let's finish strong. But
right,
what we forget to mention is that we started out right. We're making the
right,
assumption that our brain was putty and we absorbed and molded what we needed to be able to start it out right,
right.
and then you have your ebbs and flows and ups and downs, and
Mhm.
you're going left and right, and sometimes it feels like you're being pulled into every direction, and and then that's when you can say, okay, it's not about where I'm at right now, it's about where I
Right,
finish, right?
right.
So that's really cool. So tell our listeners a little bit about your leadership journey, and how you mentioned that a little bit about your confidence, but I want to give you an opportunity to just kind of talk a little bit about your journey, and what it's been like, and uh, how maybe I have helped you through that journey, and
Ooh.
maybe the listeners can go onto the website, and because hearing it is more powerful than me saying, hey, I know what I'm talking about. I'm
Let me,
that's not what I'm
please.
authentic. I want people to be to hear the real, the good, the bad, the ugly, and everything in between. So why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Man, first of all, I would definitely like to give an indubitable shout out to Mr. Armando Coronado. That's what I know him by. Uh, to make a long story short, because it's about to be a long story, this man has an extremely big imprint on my whole approach, even my sales swagger. I met this man, had to have been almost 10, almost 15 years ago, almost, at least almost, right around there. Um,
I would say.
I was coming into sales at Imperial Marketing. We were selling cable packages, direct TV, if I'm not mistaken, things of that
That's
nature.
right.
So he was my trainer, best trainer I'd ever seen, ever been in class in my life. Messed me up because I was like, oh, this is training for what I've been. This is what I was supposed to say. This is how I was supposed to. This is what rebuttal means. Wait a minute. This is oh, okay. So when they said that, that was an objection. This is overcoming an objection. Oh, now it makes, he, he literally put all the pieces together that I didn't even know I was missing. And ones I've been looking for in broad daylight with a flashlight. Um, I was from his training class, I was so successful. And I always thanked him for that. Something came across that, that company just wasn't as good as they said they were. And, he let me know, like, man, I'm going to have to part ways. And to myself, I'm like, well, where are we going? Where are we about to go? Because if you leaving, I'm leaving. Where you mean? What you mean you leaving? Where are we at? He's like, nah, you stay. I'm gonna go make sure it's all good over here. I'm gonna hit you and let you know in a minute. I'm like, I'm literally trying to leave too. Like, but at the end of the day, I stayed. They ended up pretty much on the same stuff. As I'm looking for I'm going in for an interview for another position. I get a call from Mr. Armando. What's up, Josh? You ready? I'm like, yes, I'm ready. Yes. He's like, check your email. I sent you the information. Come on up, get started. So then he introduced me into Good Sam Camping World. Uh, one of the best times of my life. One of the best, what was it, 4 years I think I was there? Uh, it was great.
I know I was there for maybe 6. So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
I gotta,
Before,
I don't even, I don't count time like that.
Right.
When you're at a good place, at least when you're at a good place, right? When you're at a good place, sometimes you lose track of like how long was I there because you're not really looking at the
Right.
clock.
Time's not even a factor. Like you're not even thinking about
Right.
time. Time went so fast. I started off in the extended service plan over there, and he trained me over there too. Like it doesn't get any better than that to get trained once and again by the same person in two different fields, but both in the same, in almost in the similar as far as sales goes. And
Right.
I went over there and I obliterated that department. I went into the extended service plan department and uh, tore up the sales department month after month to the point where Armando was in Camping World side, where they sold basically the parts and subscriptions and things of that nature for the RVs. I was in the part where we sold the actual extended service plans for the mechanical and electrical breakdown coverage for, the coach, the chassis, or those things of the nature of the RV. So it was like an inside uh, promotion. Make a long story short, he offered me a position over in Camping World, and I came over there. That was awesome. That was cool. The whole learning process of the different levels of, because there's different levels of sales, different levels of stress in sales, managerial supervisor on the floor. So from coming on being in the seat with a headset on to now running a team or babysitting, like we like to say sometimes, because it's what's what it is babysitting adults. Um, I learned a lot. I grew a lot.
You fast
And
forwarded a little bit. I want our audience to really understand that is that you came in as an agent on the
as a,
phones, and
yes,
then you had an opportunity to become a leader. So
yes,
talk a little bit more about that. Help them understand that piece, like because that doesn't just happen, right? Like
it
you don't
didn't.
just
Right.
all of a
It
sudden
came
get
from
that
hard.
opportunity.
It came from a lot of hard work, and plus the amazing referral out the blue. Like every the work was seen and the seeds were planted in me. Like Armando planted the seeds, the recipe, gave the blueprint. Look, this is how you do it. This is, and also here's a tool, and that meant that meant a lot to me. Like, and I really appreciate that because that helped me become the whole beast that I feel like I am. Period. Um, it Your patience, the way you was just real patient and assertive and so knowledgeable, like knowledgeable. You always told me product knowledge. That's how you win everything. Product knowledge. Know your product. Know what you're talking
That's
about.
right.
Period. Product knowledge. If you don't know your product, don't count on selling anything of it. Don't.
Yeah,
Very
yeah.
simple.
All the techniques that I can train somebody to do, they don't matter if you don't
If
take
you
the
don't
time
do
to
them
know and understand your product. Right.
right,
So you got to know your product, but then you got to use those techniques to support that. And I think that's important for our listeners is I want them to take away that there's no magic wand. Listening
no,
to what we have to say, listening to our this podcast, and taking the advice from our my guests or from myself, um, it's not going to change your world. You got to be willing to check the box on every single section that you have to be able to make an impact. And I think that's where the power comes from, right?
and apply it. You gotta apply it. After as I was talking about the morning things, after listening to those things and those the motivational to I then apply it. I'll take two or three that I can remember and say, okay, those are me today. I'm integrating those into me today, uh, into whatever my process is for today, how I'm approaching or attacking it. Worst thing that can happen is that it works. And the best thing that can happen is that it works way better than I thought it would. So
That's right.
I feel like it's a win-win situation. Uh, back to my little journey. It was very uplifting. You put me in a position to be great. That's the best way I can put it. You literally put me in a position to be great there, and those were my best years as far as working, like, period. We had a great time up there, made a
Sure
lot of
did.
money,
We sure
built
did.
a lot of relationships, and had a lot of fun. Like, that was it was never I was going to work. It was never like, it wasn't like, oh, I gotta go to work, or, oh, another day. If that's what you're doing when you're on your way to work, or when don't go there anymore.
Yep.
Dead
Amen.
ass. I
I
don't
gotta
know
say
no
it, and
other
I
way to
and I
say
know
it.
that's hard.
It's
I know
hard.
that's
It's the
hard for
truth.
somebody that's saying, I need that money, I need that paycheck, I need this job.
You need
But
your sanity. You
yeah,
need
absolutely. There
yourself.
it
You
is.
need
There it
yourself.
is.
At the end of the day, if yourself ain't right, that job can't get the best of you, because you're not even right, because you don't like being there.
Right.
So they're only going to get 20, 30. They might trick up one day and get 70% of you, but they'll never get all of you, because it's not where you want to be. It's not what you want, And so there's too many, there's too many opportunities out here, too many spider webs of branches off of things that you could do, you could think of. You could sit here and be like, you know what? I want to I just want to make remotes all day. That's what I really want to do with my life. You can literally pick up this computer and type in making remotes all day and work and start making your own remotes all day. Because that's going to
That's
make you
right.
happy. And if you're doing something that's making you happy, that's going to make you way more money.
It's gonna also lead to success. Success is a lot easier to see and find when that end goal is something that you have passion for, right?
Right.
So very, very cool. Josh, it has been an honor to reconnect with you today. I am so glad
Yeah.
that you got a chance to share your story, talk a little bit about sports. We know the Lakers are going to lose in the first round, but it's all good. Just teasing. We'll have to see, man. We'll have to see.
Memphis is missing too many pieces. They're missing two pieces.
Yeah,
Those centers
yeah.
are going to
All
be a
right.
big difference. Ja can't beat LeBron and AD. Not both of them.
I think you're right. I think you're right, but we'll have to see what happens here, and playoffs are starting here. So by the time we get this episode uploaded and on YouTube and Instagram and on my website, we might have a little bit more insight by then, and we'll see. So what's your prediction here on final thoughts here? Prediction on the Lakers? How far do they make it?
It's all bad. They're going to make it to the Nuggets, and my Denver Nuggets are going to beat the brakes off of them. And
So what is that? Second round? Second or third round? Second
I
round?
think, yeah, because
Yep.
I'm a diehard 100% Nuggets fan. That's my number one team. I'm only a Lakers fan because of LeBron. But yeah, my Nuggets are gonna. I think the Nuggets will be their demise. If they
Yeah.
get past the Nuggets, they will win the chip. But
Oh, you heard it here. You
I
heard it
said
here.
that
He
if they
just
get
said it.
past the Nut, because the Nuggets is the only thing in their way. If the Nuggets aren't there, and if whoever eliminates the Nuggets, the Lakers can't beat them. If the Lakers can beat the Nuggets, they can win the championship.
All right. Well, we'll have to see, man. I mean, I'm pretty excited to see what my Suns do this year with the addition of KD. So we'll have to see. I might have to slow you down a little bit and tell you, whoa, pump those brakes,
When
my
I
man.
say you have the most cheatingest team,
Why do you say that?
you went and got KD and then let him rest for a whole month before the playoffs, then activate him right when the playoffs start. That's cheating.
Well, how is that any different than sitting your players, not whether it's deactivated or
Was it
not, just,
load
you know,
management?
resting. Right, that's the word, load management. I can't
Are
believe
you
that. I mean,
serious?
we come from
We
the
we're
generation
playing
where
every game.
players every single
We're
game,
playing
right?
every
And
game.
that
Oh my
it goes back
gosh.
to that confidence, right? Like, how can you, as an athlete, build confidence if you're not on the court to do that, right?
Right.
And to go through that perseverance, right? When you're not feeling well, when you're a little bit injured and banged up, still getting out there, putting in that grit, in the grind. That's how you build some confidence. So I want our listeners to take two things away today to help them build confidence today, right now. Make an adjustment. And the first adjustment you do is when you wake up, that brain of yours is putty and it's moldable. Make sure you put some inspiration and motivation in there. I love that. The second thing, grit. Get in there and get it done. Do not let yourself tell yourself that you can't do something, that you're not good at something. You control that destiny, that narrative, not anybody else. Don't let those outside influences impact you. You can do that today. Those are two simple things that you can do walking away today. Adjust and get it going, get that grit. So thank you so much, Josh. Again, it was a pleasure. Where can our listeners, if they wanted to follow you on Instagram, Facebook, any of your other socials?
Maurice McHustle. That's it on Maurice McHustle on Facebook. I think that's the same thing on Instagram. I don't really be on that like that, but hey,
All right, all right, all right.
it was a
Well,
pleasure, and this was episode 1. I'll be back.
awesome. We'd love to have you back, and thank you so much again, Josh. And to our listeners, thank you for coming along for this ride. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, and get those notifications.